Good evening to everyone that is here. My name is Rosemary Sherrod. They call me Rose, and I'm the digital community manager here at Now Included. So good evening. I'm so excited that you all are here. Excited about Ms. Kimbly Mungen sharing her story with us on this evening. Ms. Kimbly, I just want to thank you. Thank you for being here. And thank you for being willing to share your story with us on tonight. We're very excited that you're here. And then we'll also have Rosemary. She's our moderator. And she'll be here joining, and she'll be posting poll questions, and she'll answer she will get us going on our Q&A towards the end. And so I'm just very excited. So listen, whatever questions that you may have, feel free to add them in the chat. As we're talking, whatever comes to mind and you have a question, feel free to put them in the chat, and we're going to answer those questions at the end. Okay. Let's see. We're going to go ahead and get started. So first, I just want to say welcome, Ms. Kimbly Mungen. Thank you so much for being here. Thank you so much for sharing your story with us on this evening. I know that, I've had the privilege, right, and honor of meeting you, talking with you, engaging with you in the community. And, if you would just introduce yourself and tell the community a little bit about yourself.
Okay. Hi, everyone. Thank you all for coming. My name is Kimberly Mungen. I am actually located in Savannah, Georgia. I am a single mom of 2 successful young men. I don't want to say retired, but I have like 23 years in the social service career. And then now I am currently a financial capability coordinator. So I'm helping individual with their budget and credits, etc., dealing basically with their finances. I don't have many hobbies, but I think I'm about to adopt a hobby of doing podcasts with Ms. Rose.
Well, I would love it. Listen, I love it. I love good conversation with good people. So we're talking about tonight, you participating in a clinical trial. And, the first thing I want to, that I'm thinking is, when was the first time that you thought about even participating in a clinical trial? But I'll say, when was the first time that you even heard of a clinical trial? Let's kind of go way back and just start at the beginning.
Yeah, you're taking me way back, Ms. Rose.
Yeah. Well, there's so many people that don't know, right? Some people, they've heard of it, or there's some people that may not have heard of it at all. When was the first time that you even heard of a clinical trial?
So I will actually say back in 2008, when I worked in the medical field. I worked in gynecologic oncology for 7 years. And the doctor who I worked with, he was the only gynecologic oncologist in a wide range from Columbia, South Carolina, all the way to Jacksonville. He was the only one. And from my understanding, that particular specialty is a very, very hard specialty to, I guess, pretty much stomach. Oncology is just hard for anyone. So by me working in that field, dealing with a lot of people, with cancer, of course, but I was dealing with female cancer. So I had an opportunity because it's a teaching hospital. And by him being the director over the gynecologic oncology department, I was able to work with a lot of the residents there. We're talking about residents that when they got their residency, they was able to try to decide what I really want to do, like what specialty that I wanted to do. So that gave me an opportunity to not just work with them, it gave me an opportunity to learn about chemo, learn about the different tumors, working with the tumor board and all of that. And while I was doing all of that, I also was able to speak with a lot of reps, a lot
Oh,
of
okay.
pharmaceutical reps.
Mhm.
So with that being said,
Yeah.
clinical trial never came a part of our conversation, but
Mhm.
through hearsay and reading a whole lot, I came across clinical trials. And I was like, okay, I started out looking kind of like doing my own thing. Let me Google clinical trial. I came across a couple of clinical trials. And what happened was I did not meet the criteria.
Okay.
Because
So,
go ahead.
so which clinical trial were you that you did not meet this criteria? Like what was it? What
I
kind of
think
clinical trial was it?
my very first one that I attempted,
Mhm.
it was dealing with high blood pressure.
Oh, okay.
So one, I never had high blood pressure, but because I was
Yeah.
dumb to clinical trials, I just thought that you could just go and
Yeah.
come aboard.
Participate.
Right.
Right.
So of course, we went through the whole initial like, oh, what is your age?
Mhm.
What is, of course, your ethnicity? Um,
Right.
what is your weight? Oh my God.
Oh man.
So we stopped there. And
Okay, so
because
so you had to go through a series of questions um to be what it is approved of the, like to, is there some
before
type
they
of
could go,
approval
yeah,
process?
basically before they could go either further into the process of interviewing you. So when she got to my weight, of course, I was obese, I was huge, I was there. And
Oh,
she stopped me. She was like, you don't qualify. There was nothing else.
oh,
She
just
never
off
even
your,
got,
just
yeah,
because of your weight.
just because of my weight. So that door closed.
Mm,
So I was like, okay, fine.
okay.
So after that, I just kind of like did my own thing. Still was following up on a lot of the clinical trials. I was reading up on them. I still was trying to educate myself.
Hmm.
Of course, I went through the process of losing weight. I lost like over 100 pounds. And
Okay.
then I started back when COVID started.
You
Um,
started back
as
just,
I tried to get into a clinical trial at the
oh,
COVID.
oh, okay. Okay. Any specific one that you were trying to participate in, or you just wanted to experience that process with anyone that you would be approved for?
I was just experiencing, yeah, anyone that I was would be approved for. I didn't want to do the COVID. Mm-mm.
Oh, you didn't want to do the
I
COVID.
didn't want to do the
Okay.
COVID.
Okay. Okay. We're gonna come back to that because I do have a question about that. Yeah. We do have some unique conversation about COVID and in our community. So I'll come back to that. So which clinical trial did you participate in? Tell me about that.
Okay, so I have participated in a clinical trial.
Mhm.
Um, Once I started, one thing I forgot to tell you is once you start in researching on clinical trials, it's like
Mhm.
your name is always in a database. So you're going to always get emails, you're going to get random phone calls, any kind of clinical trial they think that you are a candidate for, you
Mhm.
would get a lot of phone calls. So
Okay.
I noticed that I started getting abundance of emails of different clinical trials. So
Mm.
after that, um, I received a email and I received
Okay.
a phone call. And this
Mhm.
was at the Meridian Clinic clinical trial here in Savannah.
Oh,
So
okay.
I went through the whole process of speaking with the young lady, interviewing, and of course, all of those questions came back up. They wanted to
Mhm.
know with this particular one, they wanted to know my blood pressure, they
Mhm.
wanted to know my weight, they wanted to know everything under the sun to see
Okay.
if I qualified.
And
And
you qualify for this one?
yeah, because because of my age.
Okay. Okay. Because so
So
I would imagine everyone's process is different. Now, I've never participated in a clinical trial. I don't know anyone that has participated in a clinical trial. I've always heard of it because I had a son with cancer. As far as that process, um, kind of tell us about like that process, from starting and them saying, okay, you're accepted into this research or this process, talk a little bit about your process.
Okay, so once the young lady called, she interviewed me. She got all of my demographics and all of the information. She set me up to actually go to Meridian, the site. So I
Okay.
went and I had my appointment. So the first day that I got there, of course, I was scared. Never did this before. Didn't know what I was getting myself into, but I was determined that I was gonna go through the clinical trial. So when I got there, of course, when you sign in, they give you a packet, basically wanting you to sit there and read all of the information before you go back to meet with your coordinator, because it's like you have a small team of individuals that's working with you. You're gonna have a coordinator, you're gonna have your nurse, and then you're gonna, of course, you have the doctor, and then you have the big overall doctor director. Okay. So you have your kind of your team. So I read all my information, and when they took me back, of course I had to sign my papers. My coordinator went over everything. They go over every sheet of paper they give you. They just don't read it to you, but they go over it. They just
So
don't.
was any of that process uncomfortable for you, or because you keep saying they went over everything?
It wasn't uncomfortable, but I still was in that I'm scared mode. But of course I didn't show it to them. But they went over, they made sure you understand that not just taking the clinical trial, that you have appointments that you need to go come on. You do not know if you're actually doing a placebo or you're actually doing the actual medication. You don't know that stuff. And at that time, you become a number. You just become a number. And then it came time where they say, we need to take blood. They take a lot of blood, of blood.
Okay.
So of course, I gave them the blood. They very good, very nice, because I'm scared of needles.
Oh.
So of course, after that, they took the blood, and then after that, you have a physical. You actually have a physical.
Okay.
And then after the doctor talked with you, going over your history and all of that, then it was time to get actually it was time for me to get my injection.
Okay.
So I actually did the flu. I did the flu vaccine.
Oh, okay. So there's a new flu vaccine?
Right.
Okay.
So I did that. And right after I did my injection, that's when, after you do that, you actually have to sit for 30 minutes to make sure that you don't have no kind of reaction, make sure you're good and all of that. So during my 30 minutes, I'm just sitting there, and then after your 30 minutes is up, that's when you book at that time, I booked every appointment that I needed for the next 6 months.
Okay.
And
so how many times did you have to go and so for this clinical trial, how many visits or how many shots did you have to take,
I only took one shot.
One. Okay.
But
so it's kind of like it's a vaccine, so to say.
Yeah, you only take one shot.
All right. Yeah. See, I'm learning. So
the only part you do give a lot of blood. You do give a lot of blood. So every visit, I had to go and give blood. Like they take a lot of tubes. But I went on and I set my appointments up for 8 o'clock every time I needed to go in. They also, you have a diary that you have to log in every day. You get a reminder. You get a reminder to remind you to log all of your symptoms, everything.
Do they keep that, or do you keep it? You have to give them your diary?
It is actually, it's an app.
Oh, it's an app. Okay.
It's an app on your phone. They help you download it, and then you have to log on every morning just to get it. At the beginning, I was doing it every morning for 30 days. And then
Okay.
after the 30 days, it was, I think it was every week.
Mm-hmm.
And then after that, as it was close to the time that the trial was ending, I think it was like once a month or something like that. But it wasn't as often. They kind of like take you down. But the good thing, well, the thing about the clinical trial that I tried, I still end up getting COVID.
Oh, okay. During that
And
time.
I did not know that I was supposed to report that, because I was like, well, I didn't think I needed to report it.
Yeah.
But
Did it
Rose,
disqualify you?
it did not disqualify me, but they were really concerned. Like, I thought I did something wrong. Like, they needed to know my COVID test. They needed to know how I felt. They
Yeah.
needed to know that I have to go to the doctor. Like, they really was on it, and they have to log all of this information. So that part, they really take care of you in a clinical trial. Like, if anybody ever say, oh, clinical trials is the worst thing, it's not.
It's
Because
not.
they really take care of you. They make sure you're healthy enough before you even take the clinical trial.
Okay. So we have one question from Kevin, and he says, did your friends or family know? What were their opinions about you participating in the clinical trial?
Kevin. If you know me.
Did you tell your family? That's the
I didn't tell my family, because
Oh, you didn't. Okay.
tell my family until after. They did not know. They did not know at all. I'm just that family member that do whatever she want to do.
Okay.
So no, I did not tell them. And
okay, go ahead.
You go ahead.
Well, I was going to ask, did you share it with them at some point, like after, it was all over with and you felt like, it was good?
I think I kind of like shared it through just casual conversation. Because just like my son was like, oh, I didn't even know you was doing clinical trial. So I really didn't share it with many.
Yeah, and did you, and this is just me wanting to know, like, did you not share it? You just didn't want any interference of like opinions, or did you feel like they might have looked at it in a negative light, or, I just want to know.
They would have said, really, Kim?
Okay.
Why are you doing that?
Oh yeah. I get it. So we have another question, Miss Deirdre, and I apologize if I said your name wrong, but I think it's Deirdre, asked, oh, sorry. She made a comment. She said, I agree. I have participated in clinical trials and the care was great. She was agreeing that the care was great. When we have a question from Miss Alicia, sorry. She says, at any time after getting the injection, did you think this was a bad idea, or was it smooth the whole entire process?
When I first got the injection, I was fine. Of course, the area they give you a thermometer, they give you everything that you would need. And they tell you to take Tylenol or whatever. It's just like a regular vaccination. After I got it, I was afraid that I was going to take sick, but just like I said, I didn't know whether or not I did the placebo or the actual vaccination. But I did go out, like, I think it was like a week later.
Okay.
And that's when it hit me.
Okay.
I was actually out, and I started with the body aches, like I had the cold symptoms and all of that. And
that answers our next question from BJ. She says, were there any side effects?
It was, but I was really fatigued.
Okay.
So that was the only thing typical of, of course, the night fever, and very typical of a vaccination. So it was nothing out of the norm. as a side effects.
Okay. We have a question from Ms. Winifred Jones. Did you have any underlying conditions?
Okay. Oh, I did. I have degenerative joint disorder. And I also, at that time, I was battling depression, anxiety. I was battling mental health really, really bad. But as of everything else, that's the only underlying issues that I can truly say that I had. I don't have high blood pressure. I don't have, you know, I do have stomach issues, and I do have, I suffer from migraines. But when we go into another a question that Rose is going to ask, then I can answer, because I don't want to give that part away. Because it's another question she's going to ask, and then I can kind of like finish her answer.
Okay. Yeah, the questions are good. Y'all keep listen. We're excited for the questions. So please, any other questions you have, feel free to ask. We welcome all questions. So do you plan to participate in any, well, I tell you what, before I ask that question, I want to ask, now that's the first clinical trial that you participated in, right? Okay.
Right.
So did you participate in any other clinical trials after that?
So after I was, I did my last visit with the clinical trial.
Okay.
Of course, when you go into an area that participate in many different clinical trials, they have a lot of advertisement.
Okay.
So I was looking around. This particular one, they had the new COVID. They have a COVID clinical trial. They have RSV clinical trial. They had the ammonia clinical trial. They have a lot of clinical trials, but you also have to look at the age range, because that's one of the biggest things that they indicate on them. You know, you have to see if you meet the age range. So I was looking while I was waiting for them to call me back. And of course, I chose one of them, because I said, okay, I'll do it again. Because just like I say, I had a wonderful experience from my first clinical trial. So I went in, and I kind of like told them, yeah, I want to do another clinical trial. So at that time, she said, well, let the nurse, my coordinator, she was like, let me let the doctor know.
Okay.
So the doctor came in, and I, expressed that I want to do another clinical trial. But
Okay.
I told her, I said, before I do it, I am going to my primary care, because I have not seen him since COVID.
Okay.
And I know that a lot of things have changed with me. I have gotten my mental health very regulated. I have gotten, my joint pains and pain and all of that regulated. So, and then I have changed my lifestyle. So I wanted to see what my doctor would say before I commit to the clinical trial.
Okay. That's good. So I'm going to swing back around to when you mentioned I didn't want to do the COVID. So you sort of answered, I think you've answered this question, but I wanted to ask, have you ever experienced your own mistrust, in the healthcare system? As a community, usually, we saw a lot of mistrust during the time of, the vaccine for COVID. So, I'm just impressed that you stepped forward to participate in a clinical trial, and just wondered if you ever experienced any of your own mistrust or even bad experience were there any bad experiences throughout the process of the clinical trial process as well?
Well, going up to the next clinical trial, I got cleared from my doctor, because when I went to see my primary care, he's been my primary care for many, many years. And I can honestly say this doctor, he don't play with me, put it like that.
He take care of you. That's
He
good.
take care of me. So what happened, I kind of like told him what I was doing. He was
Mhm.
very, very, he was happy. He was like,
Yeah.
okay,
Yeah.
I'm glad you'll participate, and sure, go ahead for the next one.
Okay.
Well, I called. So when I left his office, I called and I let them know that, hey, my doctor already cleared me. I'm ready to go. I'm ready to do this next clinical trial.
Yeah.
So I got my appointment and I went in.
Okay.
So now, mind you, my first clinical trial was
Mhm.
just the flu shot.
Okay, right.
I was on depression medicine. I was on anxiety medicine. I was on a lot of medicine, a lot of supplements like
Right.
vitamins and all of this. Well, when I went back to my primary care and he cleared me, the only thing I'm on migraine medicine that is not even every day. I don't have to
Mhm.
take a medicine to prevent my migraine. I'm just taking one on onset of a migraine. I'm
Okay.
on my vitamins, of course, and then I take some Prilosec for my stomach, and then of
Mhm.
course I have an ulcer, so I had to take that. That's only temporarily. All right, those are the only medications I'm on.
Okay, see,
Well,
that answers, and I wanna squeeze this question in because you're hitting on it now. We have a question that says, "Did it interfere with any of your medications that you were already on?"
it did not, but
Mhm.
it leading up to this clinical trial, because
Mhm.
I'm no longer on any of those medications.
Mhm.
I was explaining to the young lady that, I'm on this medicine, I'm on that medicine, I'm no longer on this medicine, I'm no longer on that medicine. And she said, well, let me call the doctor.
Okay.
But she called I guess the nurse. Then he started texting the doctor
Mhm.
and he was like, well, are you sure you're going to be on it? So I have my chart like on my phone. So
Okay.
I'm not giving you, I'm giving you exactly what I'm on, the milligrams or whatever. Well, um, one thing, I really thought it was very unprofessional for him to be texting all of my information to the doctor over the phone.
Oh,
But I
wow.
didn't say anything. Well, at the end of, I'm no longer on a lot of medicines. I'm just taking a pneumonia shot, just
Mhm.
like the flu shot, because
Right.
y'all want to come up with another vaccination for pneumonia.
Mhm.
Well, the doctor said, no, it's too complex.
Mm.
So when I first took the flu shot, I was on a lot of medicine.
You was on
No,
more medicine
it was
then.
more medicine, and no,
Mhm.
it did not interfere with none of my medicine because it just was a flu shot. It's just a shot that help you with prevent you from getting the flu.
Right.
The pneumonia is just prevention for you to get pneumonia at 50 plus years.
Yeah.
So with me being on those little bit of medicines, and you're gonna say no because it's too complex, but then I was on a lot of medicine and you gave me the flu shot. So it
Mhm.
was kind of like, okay, all right. And I'm gonna let you go ahead because I want you to touch on it so that I can finish that.
Well, that's real good information. We have another question. Um, do they recommend that you have someone care for you at home during this time that you're
No,
on?
because you're not sick. You're
Right.
not sick. You're not sick. You're not. You just go on like your regular day.
I'm
You're
loving the
not sick at
questions.
all.
Right.
You don't need any caretakers, givers.
Right. That's good. We have another question. Have you ever experienced any health disparities?
Oh, I have.
And you have
I have.
anything that you want to share, or you just want to leave it there?
That's another live.
I know it's another line, right? So yeah, so but thank you for
But
answering.
not for my clinical trial. Just like
Right,
I
just
say,
on another.
yeah, if they really take care of you, they really take pride in educating you on the clinical trial. They call you. They really take care of you. Now I have to give them that. They really take care of you.
So is this education available just to someone that just want to inquire, you know, like, well, what is this about? What is clinical research? Or do you have to actually really be, you know, all the way in to receive this education?
I think you have to be all the way in,
Okay,
because just to call, you're not going to get too much information.
right, right. We have another question. Are there compensations given for doing a clinical trial?
It is. It is.
Okay,
Each clinical trial has different amounts and
okay.
different, they compensate differently. The one, the flu shot,
Mm-hmm.
it compensated. I mean, I'm gonna just be honest. We in our community,
We're in our
we
community.
we a family. We a
Yeah,
family.
family.
So I can say my compensation with that with the flu was like $500.
Mm-hmm.
The
That's
second,
interesting to know.
yeah, that one was $500. And what happens is they give you a card of pretty much, they tell you how much you would get at each visit. You
Mm-hmm.
get a certain amount at the in clinic visits. You get a certain amount when they actually call you to talk to you across the phone, and then you
Okay.
also get mileage.
Okay.
So it depends on each clinical trial. Now, if I would have took the one that I was denied, that one paid really, really well. That one paid really, really well. But I got denied.
One thing that you mentioned that I loved, Ms. Kimbly, you even talked about, you know, your purpose in wanting to contribute towards helping others, you know, as far as the research, you know, being more inclusive. You want to talk a little bit about that? I just thought that was very admirable of you.
Well, one, because it's a lot of things that it's a lot of illness and medication we as a Black community
Right.
have, and we just sit back and we see a lot of our loved ones just vanish because
Yeah.
of us not knowing or us not taking that time to really how can I say, investigate what they're actually going through
Right.
and the medicines. And they only really doing a lot of these clinical trials on Caucasians.
Right.
We all have different, we are made
Different
up
makeup.
differently.
Yeah. You
And
have a different makeup.
if we don't have, and some of the medicines are worse on African American versus Caucasian
Mhm.
versus Asians, you know. So I really felt that at least I won't call myself a guinea pig because I'm not nobody guinea pig,
Right.
but
Right.
I'm able to be a part of some type of medicine to help
Mhm.
someone down the line. You know, I have a
Mhm.
grandbaby, you know, she's coming, she's 1 years old now. I have a grandnephew, he's 3. You know, all these things I'm willing to risk myself, letting them and
Yeah.
take me so that it can be better for them.
Yeah. More inclusive
And
research.
right.
Yeah.
So
That's awesome. We have another question. What was the exit procedure like? Did they go through a final evaluation and stay in touch with you after?
well, the exit procedure was basically I went to do my final visit.
Mhm.
Of course, they took more blood. They took more
They
blood.
gonna stop taking Miss Kimbly's blood.
Oh, they take a lot of blood. They take a
Yeah,
lot of blood.
part of the
After
process.
that, they pretty much just made sure that I was doing well and making sure I didn't have any kind of symptoms.
Mhm.
And that pretty much was it. One thing they did not tell me whether or not I had the placebo or the actually live vaccine, but
Mhm.
because of the fact that I had the side effects. I know that I had the live vaccine. So,
Right.
but other than that, do they check on you? They haven't. So, because it's closed, it's like a closed book. After
Okay.
you're done. You can't go back and open that book. You cannot go back, like they cannot go back into that clinical trial trying to get information for another clinical trial. So it's like a book, you close it. It's
Yeah.
closed, it's sealed, and you move on.
Right. Okay. That's good. Now before we come to the end of our meeting, I know there's something that you wanted to share. You said you was waiting for me to hit on it. Go on and share it, Ms. Kimbly. Go ahead.
So going back to me being denied,
Yeah.
it's weighing on me very heavy because I compare them, and it goes to the compensation part of it.
Yeah.
I look back on the money that they compensated me with the flu.
Mm-hmm.
That was change. That was literally change in someone's pocket. The
Mm-hmm.
amount of money that they're paying for this pneumonia vaccination,
Mm-hmm.
if I would have took that trial, started that trial, I would have walked out of there on that day literally with $350, just that one visit.
Mm-hmm.
And I look around, and of course, when I go, you don't have that many Black people in there, but
Mm-hmm.
it's sad to say, I really feel and felt that they held that they want that particular clinical trial for Caucasian people. They don't want many Black people to take that clinical trial, because after they deny me, she's going to say, oh, we have another one coming up, but it won't be this one.
Mm.
So she said, well, I have one for migraines. And I said, well, I'm already on medicine for migraines. Do you know she still signed me up? The young lady called me to try to interview me. I say, ma'am, the medicine you're trying to get a clinical trial on, I'm already on that. I cannot participate in that. So with that being said, it is a little disparagement there.
Oh, you felt you felt like
I,
something that you were not treated fairly in some way.
on that.
Okay. So
And
what would you change? Is there anything that you would change? Just looking at that whole process where you felt like, okay, this right here could have been done a little bit different. Besides, the point that you just made.
well, because I have become very humble. So therefore, I'm gonna let it ride, but I'm gonna actually keep my eyes open, and I'm gonna take a lot of mental notes.
Learning from it.
I am searching for other clinical trials, and maybe it may not be here in Savannah. It may be other places, but I am researching other clinical trials. I would not get on one with migraines because I have found a medicine that he gave me. So I want to stick with that, but I am looking to other clinical trials.
Okay. And that answered one of my last questions about, would you be looking forward to, participating in any future clinical trials? We have one more question from the chat. Will you be able to work your regular job during the time that you're a participant? Is it with all the appointments that you have to attend?
Yeah, because just like I said, when I took the the first injection on my first visit, the young lady took me through the whole 6 months that they were monitoring me, and she gave me the option of how I wanted my appointment. So I would be able to work everything else around my appointments. Your first appointment is your longest appointment. So I did that on a day that I didn't have to go to work. So I actually was off, because you could be there between 3 to 4 hours during the process. So my other appointments was I say 45 minutes. So I was able to get in at 8:30, and I basically was I was at work probably about 9/30/9/45.
Okay, awesome. Well, thank you everyone for joining Ms. Kimbly and myself during this conversation. I hope that it's been enlightening and educating for you. That is what Now Included is here for. We're here to share our stories and to empower each other, to help us make better healthcare decisions for ourselves, more informed decisions. So thank you all for your questions and for participating. And we are looking forward to many more meetings such as this, and being there, for each other on many topics to come. So thank you all so much. And guess what? I'll see you in the community.
All
You
right,
all
see you
have
in
a
the
good
community.
evening. All right.
Bye.
Bye-bye.